Are you looking for the best laptop? In this video we will look at some of the 5 best laptop on the market. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description
for each product
so make
mentioned.
sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Starting at number 1, Apple MacBook Air, 13 and 15 inch. Apple's newest MacBook Air comes in 2 sizes, 13 inches, 7/10. Wired recommends, and 15 inches, 8/10. Wired recommends. Both are very similar, powered by the company's 2nd Gen M2 processor, and they feature larger and brighter displays, a 1080p webcam, a flatter, more modern design, and the return of the MagSafe connector, handy if you tend to trip over the charging cord. This is one of the very first lower-priced MacBooks with a large screen, and having all that screen real estate is fantastic for productivity. The bigger machine also has a slightly louder 6-speaker sound system, but they're otherwise the same. Battery life remains ahead of the competition, and performance is breezy for most average tasks. You'll notice some stuttering here and there if you push your devices hard with demanding apps, but this becomes less of an issue if you bump the unified memory to 16 GB instead of the base 8 GB. It's a fanless design, so it won't sound like you're sitting in a jet. But this Mac does tend to run warm. One big downside, it can only connect to an external monitor, which means no dual monitor setup for you. Number 2, Lenovo IdeaPad Flex 5. Lenovo's IdeaPad Flex 5 range has been a tremendous value proposition for several years now, and things are no different with this 2-inch-1 model. Alongside a tablet mode and a 360 hinge, accommodating a tent mode for better movie viewing angles, there's a snappy AMD Ryzen chip. It's not enough for gaming or video editing, but these specs are plenty for typical office apps and web-based work. There are 2 USB-A ports, an HDMI, an SD card reader, 1 USB-C, a headphone jack, and a charging port, though you can use the USB-C to recharge the laptop too. Number 3, Apple MacBook Air, M1, 2020. The 13-inch MacBook Air from 2020 is still one of the best laptops around, 9/10. Wired recommends. It was the first from Apple to ditch Intel chips for the company's very own M1 processor. Even with the new MacBook Air and its M2 processor, see above, this older version is just as appealing considering it's frequently available for $900 or less, especially with the education discount. Battery life is great, easily lasting more than a full workday, and we've encountered fewer hiccups with performance, and fewer thermal issues with this MacBook over the latest Air. It's not as felt as the latest Macs, but it's still slim and lightweight with good speakers, an excellent keyboard, and a nice screen. I love how it now instantly wakes from sleep, just like an iPhone or iPad. If you want a Mac and aren't planning on taxing it too much with demanding tasks like video editing, this is the MacBook you want. Number 4, Asus Chromebook Flip CX5. There's a lot to love with this Asus Chromebook. The keyboard is excellent. For starters, typing is often the first to get trashed when manufacturers seek to save money, but Asus has clearly focused on this area. There's a ton of travel and a satisfying click. I could happily type for hours on end on this device. The material used on the inside is also exquisite. It's soft touch and immensely smooth. There's nothing else quite like it on the market, down to the nitty-gritty. With 16 GB of RAM and an 11th General Intel Core i7, our review model has a lot in the tank for a device that'll just be used for web browsing and productivity tasking. This laptop is a tab hoarder's wonder. The display won't knock your socks off, but it is one of the better 1080p panels I've used and gets bright enough for most typical conditions. The port selection is strong, with a focus on variety. There are 2 USB-Cs, a USB-A, a headphone jack, a microSD, and even an HDMI. Read our best Chromebooks guide for more. Number 5, Acer Swift 3X. Intel is in the middle of a graphics revolution, and the Acer Swift 3X is one of the first devices to sport its graphics technology. The GPU won't give you high-end gaming performance, Far from it, but it does provide a graphical boost, making this light and thin machine capable of entry-level content creation. It's pricey for the quality, but the mix of performance and diminutive size makes an excellent combo for creative and design students. It doesn't match Apple's M1 or M2 MacBook Air, but it's a comparable Windows equivalent if you don't want to enter Apple's garden.